Shai, you guys seem to be able to respond to every one of their runs tonight, even though it wasn't a perfect 48 minutes. Did you like, as Mark would say, like the perfect way you seem to get the car on the road every time?
Um, yeah, we did enough to win. Um, we weren't, like you said, it wasn't a perfect game. We weren't the best versions of ourselves tonight. Um, we're gonna look in the mirror and try to figure out how we can be that more often. But we can't take a win for granted, and we did enough tonight to win by a pretty good margin. We're grateful.
Yeah, the defense
So Shay,
really.
can we get you closer to the microphone, please?
The defense really spurred a lot of it. 27 turnovers that you forced. How are you guys kind of like making that a catalyst for yourselves, the turnovers, to get that energy sparked?
Yeah, we always have. It's been us all season. It's been how we are the best versions of ourselves, and tonight it gave us a big enough lead. But yeah, that's just part of our identity at this point, and what we try to implement into the game every night.
Great.
Sorry, Chet has 10 dunks over the last 2 games. Mark has credited that a lot to teams playing up with their bigs. How are you guys exploiting that and getting him so many free runs?
Yeah, the last two nights teams have been high in the pick and roll coverage. Um, but Chet has been amazing in the pocket. So skilled. And it's just an example of a team throwing something at us and us being able to attack it. Uh, we have a lot of guys on the team that can do so many things, and it makes it easy to adjust on the fly and do so.
Kendrick was telling Nick post game that this group keeps him joyful. There's like a youthful energy to it that just keeps him joyful. And I asked him about what it was that keeps that feeling alive, and he was just saying that that's kind of the environment that's been fostered since he's gotten here. And he says that there's an energy that you exude that guys have kind of followed your lead. Just can you point to the feeling he's maybe describing, like the
Who said that?
environment? Kenrich.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I just try to be authentic to myself, in how I lead and how I interact with the guys. But there's no force to it. It's just me on a basketball team with a bunch of guys that I get along with, that are really good guys. And at the end of the day, want to prove themselves in the NBA and win games. And we have those things in common, and we click because of it.
And you mentioned just authenticity in there, but Kenrich even said that when he first got here, your leadership then looked different than it does now. Just can you point to a moment where maybe you had to grapple to authenticity to change it, but the moment maybe where your leadership changed form, the way it looks?
Um, I don't know. K Rich, I would just say it's just a maturity, as a human and a basketball player. Um, K Rich maybe got here 3 years ago, um, and I'm a completely different player and person from who I was back then. So that's probably the growth you've seen.
Last thing for me, you just mentioned that a lot of it has to do with authenticity. I imagine that as this team comes more into light, as you as a player comes more into light, there are a bunch of people who don't know what authenticity means to you. Like, what does that mean for you? What does that look like?
Um, I'm a pretty easygoing guy. Um, I get competitive on the court, but besides that, I'm easygoing, um, chill. Don't really do too much. Like to have fun.
Shay, what does it mean to you to come back here and play in this city?
Yeah, it's always fun. Uh, Grew up coming to games here, um, watching Chris Bosh and a bunch of NBA legends play in this building. It's always a surreal moment, and to have my friends and family in the crowd is even more special.
Shay, March Madness is obviously happening right now. Zach, you spent a lot of time with you guys in Canada basketball this past summer. Just wanted to get your thoughts. A lot of discussion on if his archetype would play in the NBA. What were your impressions on him in Canada basketball and that sort of thing, if his archetype would fit the league?
Yeah, Zach, he'll figure his way out. He's big, he's smart, He he soaks things up quick, and like he's a humble kid and wants to be really good. That's what I got from him this summer. Besides obviously the eye-popping stats and skill and stuff like that. So I think he'll figure it out. And as far as his architect, the last two MVPs have been big guys, so he'll be just fine.
Shai, yeah, obviously there is still a long way for it. But if Jamal Murray played the Olympics, and with you guys, both of you played on the floor at the same time, would you think that both of you should adjust to adapt to each other to play together on the floor?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be any different from me playing with the guys I played with this summer, Dylan, a bunch of guys I've never played with before. It'll just be us trying to do what we do best and impact the game in that way, and being unselfish in doing so.
It seemed like you guys continue to just manufacture answers to those. How did you do that throughout the course of the night?
Just continue to stay steady. It's an NBA game with NBA players. They're out there for a reason, and they have all the motivation in the world to go out there and do what they do. So, we knew they were going to bring it tonight, so we had to do the same. And credit to them, they put together runs, and we were able to just put together a few more than them.
We talked after the last game about
Would you
five.
mind moving up a little to the mic? We can't pursue it.
Can't hear me?
Thank you.
Gotcha. Is that better?
That's a lot.
All right.
We talked last game about the 5 dunks you had, and if teams are going to play up like that. You had 5, I think, in the first quarter, first half tonight. What's been key to just kind of working through that and getting so many of those good rolling opportunities to the rim?
It just comes down to how teams play me. If they're gonna put smaller guys on me, especially switching and stuff, whether it's rolling and catching in the pocket or catching lobs or getting on the glass, whatever it might be. I'm gonna try and take what the game gives me, and when teams go small, that's what it gives me. So just trying to play hard out there and make winning plays, no matter what fashion they are.
I wanted to ask you also about Kenrich. He didn't play last game, but massive impact, efficient, effective, 4 steals.
Yeah.
All those things.
Yeah, it's Kenny Hustle, the ultimate pro, ultimate competitor. He's ready whenever his name's called, and he's going to continue to do that for us, which is big. Everybody on the team is that way too. Sometimes you never know when you're going to be needed, when your name's going to be called, and everybody does a great job of staying ready. Credit to him tonight because he was huge, made a lot of big plays for us.
So, last year, when you were working with the team but not playing, you had a lot of opportunity to see Shai kind of as a fan, I guess. What's been the difference in your experience playing with him versus what you saw last year, when he was obviously pretty good to watch too?
Yeah. It's a lot more fun being out there playing with him. But it doesn't change what he's doing. A lot of credit to him. He's a hell of a player, and he worked really hard at it. Nothing that he's doing is a surprise to me, and I look forward to playing with him, hopefully for a long time.
A high turnover generating team all year, but this is the second most that you guys have forced all season, 27. What was the key on that end of the floor and making sure you guys kind of won that battle against the team?
We was trying to find some energy somewhere. I felt like we had a slow start. Shot wasn't really falling, and we just had to find a way to get going. So I feel like just us, being a little more aggressive defensively, trying to get steals and to run the floor, it helped us.
And the game seemed to kind of swing on you flipping the fast break aspect. They had a bunch of fast break points in the first quarter. You guys really flipped that the rest of the game. Why is that such a big deal against this team?
Yeah, I think they're top 5 in transition. They really run the floor well, and that was a big emphasis for us to not let them do that. So they're good at this. It's obviously it's gonna happen in the game, but we was trying everything to stop it.
You're on the road, up 20. Tell me about kind of the concentration level that it takes in that second half to just withstand any runs that come your way and seal it.
Yeah, just to keep playing together. It's easy to drive away from our style of play whenever we're up big especially on the road. So, we just had to stay together, and that's what we did.
I also wanted to ask you about Kenrich. He didn't play last game. but he's ready, primed for the opportunity, and is really productive and efficient tonight.
Yeah, I mean, K. Rich is always ready, and we all been seeing this since he's been with us. Since he's been on the past couple of years. So, every time he gets his number called, you always know what you're gonna get out of him, and he always gonna go out there, compete, and play hard, and that's what he did tonight.
Lou, you had a video honoring your commitment to Team Canada and the success at the World Cup that was shown on the Jumbotron. How much does that mean to you to have that kind of recognition here in Toronto?
Feel honored, honestly. Just the experience of putting that jersey on was amazing, and I'm gonna have memories for my whole life, and I'm really grateful to be able to represent my country, to a big stage like that. So to get recognized here in Toronto, that was great.
Lou, une question en français. Comment vous êtes senti aujourd'hui au retour avec l'accueil des fans et qu'est-ce que ça représente pour vous de jouer pour le Canada aux Jeux Olympiques?
Yeah, j'étais vraiment content. C'est sûr, ça fait du bien de revenir au Canada. Surtout, il y a beaucoup de personnes de Montréal qui viennent ici à Toronto pour voir le match. Puis j'ai beaucoup de familles qui viennent ici aussi. Ça fait du bien, ça fait longtemps. Il y a des amis que j'ai pas vus, ça fait longtemps. So, je suis vraiment content de les voir. Puis pour les Jeux Olympiques, je suis vraiment excité, j'ai vraiment hâte. C'est quelque chose de malade. C'est sûr que l'équipe Canada, ça fait longtemps qu'ils l'ont pas fait. Puis on fait partie de l'histoire d'être capable d'aller cette année à Paris. So, j'ai vraiment hâte. On va être vraiment focus, puis on va aller là-bas essayer de gagner la médaille d'or.
Look, yeah, last summer with Canada, you were a huge part of especially the defensive consistency of the team in the World Cup. What stood out you the most from Jordi in terms of coaching in the defensive end in particular?
Yeah, he's really intense. I mean, Jordi's a coach that's gonna really get us going, and before the game, the way we practice, the way we approach going against those type of team, and he knew the defensive talent that we had on the team as well as. So it was just great the way that he just hyped us up, got us ready, and to go out there and compete was insane. And Jordi is a coach with a lot of emotion. He's really loud and he has a lot of energy. So it was great to just the way he was getting us ready for those type of games.
March Madness obviously happening right now. You play with Zach Edey in the national team. Want to know your impressions on him. There's a lot of conversations on if his archetype can play in the league. Just from what's your take on that, and what are your impressions on him on that?
I mean, he's a legend over there. I seen already retired his jersey. That's crazy, and I'm happy for him. And I mean, Zach is a big dude, man. He gonna do his thing, and he's so tall, and that can reflect to the NBA. There's so much that he can do, and he's actually strong too. So, I'm rooting for him. Hopefully they win the championship and all that, and I can't wait to see him next year in the league.
Orangeville, you put out Orangeville, correct? What can you tell me about Charles? I know he's developed a lot of guys. He worked closely with you, Leonard Miller. What can you tell me about him as a coach?
Charles was a great coach for me, and he really helped me off the court, especially going to my senior year. That was my last year, and then it was I was struggling a little bit off the court and on the school side, and he did a lot of stuff to help me, graduating and all that. So I'm always have love for him.
Really able to flip the terms of this game in terms of the fast break scoring. What did you notice in that regard, and how that maybe changed the course of the game?
Yeah, I thought the group to start the second quarter really amped the game up physically on the defensive end. We strung together a lot of stops at the beginning of that period, get ourselves a lead, get ourselves out on the break, and just good recognition in the game that we needed to kind of amp up our physicality, our communication, and I thought that stuff improved in that part of the game and allowed us to get a little bit of a grasp on it.
Obviously there were ebbs and flows to this one, but it seemed like you guys did manufacture an answer every time they made a charge at you. What do you think, just from a big picture standpoint, about the skill of being able to do that and get the car back on the road, as you said?
Yeah, we didn't stay there the whole 48 minutes tonight, so it wasn't our best 48-minute effort in totality, but the good news is when we needed to respond, we were tapping into the right stuff, which was defense, physicality, effort. And we did that multiple times in the game to extend some leads, including that last group in the last 6-7 minutes of the game. I thought they did a great job.
I just wanted to ask you about Kenrich. He doesn't play last game, and here he is, primed, ready, efficient, and really productive.
and was in Memphis too. He's the 2 games he's played out of the last 3. He's given us great stuff. Those small units have been really effective with him all season, and really dating back to last season, that continues to be the case. He's had great energy. I was playing 11, sometimes 12 for periods of time, and guys were getting like shorter bursts. So gave him a night off there, and I did the same thing with Jay Will tonight. That's something we'll continue to take a look at if we think it's best, just to give guys a little bit of a longer run. But he did a great job tonight. He was huge for us.
Mark, you mentioned that group to start the second to kind of turn the tide of sorts. What role did Jalen Williams play in all that, and just what does he mean in that kind of role in terms of speeding up pace, just being that kind of energizer?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously taken a huge step as a creator, especially in that unit to start the second, to start the fourth. That's been the case all year. The thing that makes him, really effective is what he does defensively, in that unit as well. It just gives you so much flexibility as to who you put out there on the court with him, because not only can he create and kind of run that thing with the ball in his hands, but he also can take on a primary matchup at the same time on the defensive end of the floor. And, like I said, it just unlocks the lineup versatility that we can build around that.
You talked about big picture, but more specifically, how do you feel the team has responded in games like this, as rare as they are, where, almost everybody loads up against you guys, but it feels like Toronto now, both times we played them, has more specifically tried to take away Shai. Like, how do you feel the team has, rallied in games like that, where, Shai, his decision-making, per usual, might be limited in a case like this?
Yeah, I thought, there were some plays that, first of all, I thought our cutting and movement off the ball tonight was pretty good. We've talked about trying to tap back into that it's slid a little bit, and the last couple games, that's been much better. And I thought it was pretty good again tonight. I thought some of our plays were just like sloppy, turnovers, which is not really characteristic of us. Usually we're a little tighter than that, so I'm not going to overreact to that. I thought on some of those plays, we were just like well-intentioned but a little loose, and have to be a little bit better. So certainly wasn't like our sharpest night, but I thought for the most part the intentions were good.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead. We'll hear in here.
Obviously a special night for Shai. Come back here. What did you make of his performance and sort of the way he kind of reacts to this environment?
Yeah, I didn't think, it wasn't his best game of the season, and he would probably admit to that. But I always respect when he comes here. He's not trying to play outside of himself in any way. I think back to Muscala hit a 3-year a couple of years ago to win the game for us. It was a great game, and Shai's got the ball. I was so impressed by that. He's got the ball. We're losing the game. He's in his hometown. Ball's in his hands. He penetrates, collapses the defense, and he passes. In a situation where he could have forced a shot up and tried to write the ending to the story, so to speak. And he's just got really good perspective as a competitor, and I thought he had that again tonight.
Talking about Shai as a competitor, he's the leader of this young team. How important do you think that his influence is with the young players in the team?
Yeah, anytime a guy has the level of status that he does, especially among his peer group, he's a younger player still, and he's got unbelievable status, obviously, in the league, but he channels that for good inside of the team. There's a contagiousness to him that he reinvests back into the team. He doesn't take that and withdraw it. He takes that and he puts it back into the team, and it compounds, and he's a great investor.
Anybody else?
Mark, now that you mentioned the game 2 years ago where Mike hit the three, that's a game that you cited as like the night that teams really started to double Shai and really realize his incoming stardom. Like, how often do you think about that game as you watch him? Like, how often do those pictures maybe flood back to you, even maybe when you step inside this building?
I have a lot of memories of the team, and there's a lot of games that taught us lessons. That game, what you're referencing, was more of a coaching lesson. Is we had a lead, and they were really aggressive to try to get back into the game. They were double teaming like crazy, and we just were disorganized and had to put ourselves in a better position in those situations. And I think we've evolved since then in terms of being able to organize in those parts of the game. When you're milking a lead on the road, team starts getting aggressive with you, having built-in spacing, having built-in answers for that. We've gotten a lot better at that as a program, starting with me. But it started that night because we were so skittish and frantic.